The Indiana Pacers just pulled off their second improbable comeback this postseason. Round one against the Bucks, they're down by 7 with 35 seconds left, and they find a way to come back and win. And it's like, that's cool. That's probably not going to happen again. And then tonight, game 2, a game that they really needed. I know that they had already stolen one in game 1, but when you're playing Cleveland and they don't have Garland or Mobley or Hunter, like, you have to win that game, even if it's on the road. And it didn't seem like they were going to do it. And then the Cavaliers unraveled in those final 48 seconds, and the Pacers took advantage of every mistake that Cleveland made. And the Pacers simply had no business winning this game. Donovan Mitchell goes for 48 points. He also had 9 assists. Max Strus and Sam Merrill both shot the ball well from 3. Jared Allen scored 22 points and had 12 rebounds. The Cavaliers took 5 more field goal attempts than the Pacers. They took more free throws than the Pacers. The Pacers gave up 14 offensive rebounds. The Pacers turned the basketball over 17 times. That's 31 extra possessions for Cleveland. And each team made 11 threes. Pacers had no business winning this game. Usually when you have all those numbers that I just read off, whoever, the Cavaliers win that game by 20 normally. And that's what it felt like was going to happen at the end of that first quarter when it was 32-15. But the Pacers, they turn it around and they figured out, how did it happen? How did they bounce back from this terrible, terrible start where this Cavaliers ball pressure just completely took them out of their offense? Like, the Pacers only scoring 15 points in a quarter is baffling. Like that doesn't happen. And there's a moment there where it's like, are the Pacers just going to kind of roll over and be cool with it being 1-1 going back to Indy? And if you've watched this team all year, then you know that the answer to that question is absolutely not, because this team is tough, this team fights, and they just kind of find a way to grit things out, and we saw that tonight. And I thought things changed with Myles Turner and his 11 points in that second quarter. He only grabbed 2 rebounds, which is a little annoying, but he kind of broke the ice for them offensively. He was the first guy who really started to make shots. He hit a couple threes, which was really big for them because they weren't really shooting the ball well. They were 1 of 8 from 3 after the end of that first quarter. They were 3 of 15 from 3 going into halftime. Myles Turner obviously hitting 2 of those in that second quarter. And he got to the foul line a little bit as well. He was kind of the first guy who found some rhythm and gave them offense when they needed it, because no one else was really scoring. Aaron Nesmith had 8 points at halftime. Tyrese Haliburton had 8. Myles Turner had 15. No one else had more than 6. And that's a pretty normal thing for a lot of teams. But the Pacers aren't like a lot of teams. Like, it is truly a team. It is a collection of all 5 players. And when one guy's got 15 and 2 guys have 8, no one else has more than 6, that usually means that the Pacers aren't playing very well. And that was, I think, the impression that they gave everyone. They didn't play very well in that first half. And, Myles Turner kind of giving them that offensive lift there in the second quarter was big. Then we get to the start of the second half. And the third quarter was all Cleveland. It was. But there are 2 guys for the Pacers who really stick out. We start to see the Aaron Nesmith impact, because he was awesome. He's defending Donovan Mitchell, and, he's pressing up and is just really competing his butt off. And he hit a couple big threes. He scored 8 points in that third quarter. And then Benedict Mathurin comes in to the third quarter, about 5 minutes left, and the Pacers are down by 14. And Benedict Mathurin proceeds to score 10 points in the final 5 minutes to cut the Cavaliers' lead down to 14. And so it doesn't sound like his impact was very big, but if he doesn't score the way he did in those final 5 minutes and get hot for those final 5 minutes, then the Pacers are down 20 going into the fourth quarter. More than likely, maybe someone else steps up and scores. But the way that the game had been going, I'm not counting on anyone else for the Pacers stepping up and scoring in that third quarter. And I think that's something that's going to be glossed over here. That stretch from Benedict Mathurin was very, very important for this comeback to happen. And then you get to the fourth quarter, and it's all Aaron Nesmith and Tyrese Haliburton, man. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say Tyrese Haliburton is not overrated. I don't know how you feel about that. You can let me know in the comments below. But this guy is outstanding. He understands the flow of the offense, or just offense period, better than anyone not named Nikola Jokic in the NBA. He is an elite-level playmaker. He knows where everyone's at. He only had 4 assists tonight. Should have had a lot more, especially in that first quarter. Felt like the Pacers missed a lot of good looks. And, now he's also one of the clutchest players in the sports. He is now 10 for 11 on shots to tie or take the lead in the final 2 minutes of games this season. Okay. The clutch gene is showing up in these playoffs in just a huge way. He has now stolen or helped the Pacers steal two just incredibly improbable wins. I mean, the dude has been amazing, and he scored 11 points in that fourth quarter. And this is what people have been asking of him for over these last 2 years. Like, take over games. Tyrese Haliburton is an elite isolation scorer. He can get wherever he wants because he handles the ball well. He's a very good jump shooter, so you got to play him up, and he's just quick enough to get by people. And in the fourth quarter, he got a lot of switches with Jared Allen on him, and he just abused Jared Allen for that entire fourth quarter. And then obviously he did it to Ty Jerome there to close the game. But he got all these favorable matchups, and he just went to work. And it was incredibly impressive to watch him do that and to watch him take over the game with his scoring, which is something that people have been asking him to do, and he's clearly more than capable of doing. He ended up, scoring 11 points, grabbing 5 rebounds, and dishing out 1 assist in that fourth quarter, which is a great stat line. And then you throw in the fact that he had a game-winning shot after perfectly executing a missed free throw after grabbing the offensive rebound off of that missed free throw. You do all that, and all of a sudden you're a legend, and that is what he's heading towards, at least in the city of Indianapolis. I don't know about nationwide, but we don't get to that point, though. We don't get to witness the Tyrese Haliburton game winner without Aaron Nesmith. It doesn't happen without him. It doesn't happen without him. Okay, his energy, his defense, his competitiveness is what allowed for Tyrese Haliburton to have that moment. They switched him onto Donovan Mitchell because Donovan Mitchell just cooked all game. Didn't matter if Nesmith was guarding him or Nembhard. I just think that they got tired of seeing Nembhard get beat by Mitchell. Part of that as well probably had to do with the fact that Nembhard had 5 fouls. And so they switched him onto Donovan Mitchell, and he's pressing him full court. He fouled him a couple times, which, that happens. But I think that set a real tone. And then, 47 seconds left. You have the putback dunk from Nesmith off of this Pascal Siakam missed free throw. That cuts the lead to 5. 2 seconds later, he draws the offensive foul on Donovan Mitchell where he gets elbowed in the face. And then, the Pacers score again, cut the lead to 3. And then, he does an excellent job denying the ball on that Max Strus inbound, which leads to the Andrew Nembhard turnover. The Andrew Nembhard steal. He was awesome, though, the whole game. He was 5 of 8 from 3. He was tied with Myles Turner to lead the Pacers in scoring. He had 3 blocks. He grabbed 4 offensive rebounds. He just brings a very important edge to this Pacers team that no one else on the roster does. Okay, and he's a vital, vital part of this Pacers team. A couple weeks ago, Tyrese Haliburton had a quote talking about Aaron Nesmith where he said, Aaron Nesmith is willing to die for this. And that's, just an expression, but you could see it tonight. He was the most competitive player on the floor, and you could tell by the way that he played this game, and that's who he is. And we saw it on full display really the whole night. Haliburton obviously hits the big shot late, and a lot of other things happened. We're about to jump into those, but we don't get to that point without Aaron Nesmith. And we also don't get to this point without the Cavaliers making every mistake possible. They allowed 3 offensive rebounds. Off of those 3 offensive rebounds, the Pacers scored every single time. Pretty crazy. Donovan Mitchell commits that offensive foul. Pacers, cut the lead to 3 right after that. Max Strus turns the ball over on the inbound, and that is what sets up the, Tyrese Haliburton gets fouled, misses the second free throw, and then hits the game winner. That is 5 mistakes. The 3 offensive rebounds, committing an offensive foul, and then turning the ball over on the inbound. And the Pacers capitalized on every single one. So, yes, good job, Pacers. They forced Cleveland to make those mistakes, but you've just got to be better closing out games, especially against this Pacer team that just is going to be relentless until the game is over. Last thing, and then I'll wrap up the video. The cool part about the final 57 seconds of this game is that every single Pacer that's, the Pacer starters closed the game, and everybody on the floor made a play to enable this comeback to come to fruition. Aaron Nesmith has the putback dunk. He draws the offensive foul. Pascal Siakam hit a big layup. It was pretty easy, but still, like, he had not a great night. So him making a layup late was big. I believe that's what cut the lead to 3. Andrew Nembhard had a steal. Myles Turner on the offensive rebound to Haliburton. Like, Myles Turner keeps that ball alive. Like, he's the one who gets in there and he tips it, and Haliburton ends up grabbing it. And then obviously Haliburton hits the game winner. Like, they needed all 5 of those dudes to get it done. And that is just the perfect symbolism for who this Pacers team is. They need all 5 guys on the floor at all times. They play offense together as a team. They move the ball, cut and screen better than anyone else in the league. Defensively, when they're locked in, they rotate as a team better than anyone. It is about all 5 guys on the floor at all times, and I think we really saw that in those final 57 seconds to help this comeback happen.